If you've lost your job in the oil industry, whether it be here, the long-distance commute to Saskatchewan, Fort McMurray and elsewhere.
Every weekday morning, Paddy Daly takes the pulse of Newfoundland.
Let's go, line number 2. Good morning.
How you doing this morning, Paddy?
Not bad, sir. So
His call-in show from St. John's, reaching into the outports. Thousands of workers have left the rock to grab high-paying jobs in Alberta's oil patch, bringing home fat paychecks, fueling rural communities. But this fall, many are not being called back as the oil shock ripples across Newfoundland.
I'm not worried yet, and I'm certainly not pushing the panic button, but I think we should have our hands hovering over it.
Daryl and Bev Day are readjusting. They own their home. Across the road, they bought another to refit for their handicapped daughter. On top, university tuition for a second daughter, cars for both.
First thing, got to get her driveway done. We're getting there.
The list of debts goes on. Daryl was a turnaround guy, flying from Gander to Alberta and back at company expense, 22 days in and 13 out. For 5 years, he moved big machinery for a hydraulic fracturing company, constantly growing.
Turned into a very busy world. You didn't have enough time or enough resources, enough people to get the jobs done.
His type of work could bring in between $80,000 and $150,000 a year, more than he'd ever made.
Really good money.
And then what happened?
We got laid off.
Suddenly? Did you see it coming, Daryl?
Oh yeah, you could pretty much see it coming. You could watch the markets and stuff, and you pretty well know what's going to happen. And we got temporarily laid off in March, and the permanent became in June.
Are you worried about your debt, your payments?
Yeah. It'll work out.
This is called Deep Cove.
Daryl and Bev were counting on a couple more years of the oil salary to help pay down their debts. He's got a new job, trucking, but earning only about a third of before. Do you think some people didn't prepare too well?
Oh, I think a lot of people didn't prepare too well. Yeah. When it comes with maturity, because it hits people pretty hard, and it did come on, I think, fairly sudden. It was there and then it was gone. And then people kind of thought it would build up the same as it did a few years ago, but it's going to take a long time, I think, for it to rebound this time.
Newfoundland's no stranger to boom and bust, but no one can tally yet how much has been or will be pulled out of local economies. It's a kind of underground economy. Everyone knows someone who went out to service the oil fields, but the numbers aren't officially documented. So now that the layoffs are piling up, there's a kind of quiet uncertainty. Bonavista, a pretty town on the coast, is rebuilding its fishery and trying to lure in tourism. Mayor Betty Fitzgerald is worried about the loss of oil money in her town.
Good day, people. How are you today? All right. How are you? How you doing, Josh? When you got good money coming in, you spend more and you enjoy life more and you buy more toys, I always say.
Yeah.
So when you look around, see people, they got new quads, new side-by-sides, new trucks, new homes. Their kids is getting all the things they need as well. Then all of a sudden, if there's layoffs, all those things is no longer there, then it's going to be very hard on the families.
Newfoundland's used to that, though, Betty. It's a resilient place.
Well, ever since I can remember, people has went away to other parts of Canada to work. All of us in some way will be affected by the decrease in oil.
There are signs already in a bigger town close by. New builds during the oil boom. Now lots of homes for sale. In St. John's, transformed by offshore oil revenues, a husky office tower newly opened just as oil began to plummet. Those working the offshore rigs are still choppering to and from the Atlantic, but oil royalties will fall, and the industry accounts for nearly a third of Newfoundland's economy. So there are ripple effects.
People here should be worried, because it's not just about the price of a barrel of oil. Because after your job in Fort McMurray is over, you can't replace it in Newfoundland and Labrador with similar pay. We talk about that all the time.
She's bordered by inlets, tickles and coves, reaches by coves and by bays. She soothes your vision as you sail around her shores with a mixture of greens, browns and greys.
Kevin Blackmore and Wayne Chalk, otherwise known as Buddy What's-His-Name and the other fellas, will still make their annual pilgrimage to sing in Fort McMurray. There just won't be as many locals there this time.
I mean, if the arse goes out of that whole thing, then and people got to come down to reality and say, well, what's significant in life? I mean, what do we need to be happy, really?
In true Newfoundland fashion, humor lurks at the edges of every downturn. A funny toughness bred in the bone.
Doom and gloom. Doom and gloom is being projected.
It is being projected.
Yes.
But at this point, we haven't seen it, and we don't try not to look too far ahead. So we're just saying at this point, she's still looking good by. She's perfect, really.
Well, I suppose.
I mean, she couldn't get no better, could she?
No better than this.
No better
Can't
than
get
this.
any better than this, eh?
I mean, what do you want?
Eh?
Boy, she's home, sweet home to me.
Susan Ormiston, CBC News, Charlottetown, Newfoundland.